All right, if you're a leader, you need to listen up. We're about to talk about the single most vulnerable moment in your entire client relationship. This is a moment that can either build a real, lasting institution, or it can trap you in a high-paying job you can't ever quit. Okay, let's get into it.
This right here, this is the moment of truth. You did the hard part, you closed the deal, now you got to bring in your team to execute. But to the client, if that transition is clumsy, it feels like a demotion. Seriously, imagine being seated at a fancy restaurant by the amazing maitre d' only to be handed off to a busboy for the rest of your meal. That's the feeling. It's the precise moment where all that trust you built is either transferred or it gets completely destroyed. And when that trust gets destroyed, you start paying something we call the fragility tax. Just think of it this way. Every single hour you have to spend putting out a fire caused by bad handoff, well, that's an hour you're not spending closing new business. That lost opportunity cost is the fragility tax. It's the hidden price you pay for a business that runs on your personal heroics instead of on a durable, solid platform. So let's really diagnose this problem because, it's often the most successful firms that are the most vulnerable here. A huge revenue number can hide the fact that your business is actually incredibly fragile, built around one single point of failure, and that's you. That massive gross commission income, it feels like you're winning, right? But what it's really become is a golden cage. You can probably feel the bars closing in, even while the money's piling up. Every single dollar you earn needs your direct, manual labor, because the whole system depends on your personal presence to calm down anxious clients. And this slide just perfectly lays out the disconnect. On one side, the client is thinking, wow, I'm being passed off to some junior person. I guess I'm not important anymore. But the reality for you, the leader, is actually way more dangerous. It means your entire business has become a single point of failure, totally dependent on your personality. And the consequences of this? They're pretty severe. You're looking at inevitable burnout. Your clients start rejecting your org chart, right? They're constantly blowing past your team to get to you. And this tanks your firm's cap rate because all the value is tied to you, not a system. So let's be blunt. You haven't built a business. You've built an unscalable ego trip. So how in the world do we break out of this trap? Well, it all starts with a fundamental reframe in your mind. We have to completely ditch the idea of a pass-off and embrace something way, way more powerful. Let's just get this crystal clear. The moment you introduce your team is not a moment where you're stepping away or passing the client down the line. That entire way of thinking is flawed, and honestly, it's what creates all the anxiety in the first place. It is an upgrade. This is the big aha moment. You are not handing your clients off. You are upgrading their entire experience by bringing in a team of absolute specialists. This isn't a downgrade in attention. It's a massive increase in firepower. And I mean, who wouldn't want that? Now, what's really important here is the why. Why is it an upgrade? Well, because your team members are specialists. They can offer a tighter service level agreement. They can give more focused attention to getting things done. They just bring more depth than any single leader ever could. You're basically giving the client a whole team for the price of one. Okay, so how do we actually do this? How do we execute this reframe? We need a playbook, a non-negotiable standard operating procedure that engineers a perfect transition every single time. This is what we call the warm handoff protocol. Look, this is a 3-step system, not a suggestion. Step 1, the internal brief. This is a must-do. The team lead gets every bit of client context before they ever meet the client. This kills that awkward getting-to-know-you phase, so your team can add value from the very first minute. Step 2, the intro email. This is your chance to officially position your team lead, to set crystal clear expectations. And third, and this is so critical, the kickoff call. This is where you, as the leader, publicly praise your team's expertise. You're not just introducing them, you're transferring your authority and literally handing over the keys. And to make this really scale, you have to operationalize it. You create a welcome to the platform asset, maybe a quick 90-second video that introduces your core team and what they do. Then you bake this right into your CRM system, so it automatically goes out to every new client. This is how you systematize the transfer of trust and take human error out of the equation. And now for the hard part. This is a direct challenge to see where you and your business really stand. Are you actually building an institutional platform? Or are you just building a monument to your own importance? First up, the absence test. And I want you to be really honest with yourself here. If you just vanished for a week, starting tomorrow, does the system run without a hitch? Does your org chart perfectly execute the protocol we just laid out? Or does the entire client relationship just fall into a panic because their hero is gone? The honest answer to that question tells you everything about the durability of your firm. Next, the autonomy check. And this one requires you to look in the mirror. When you make that introduction, do your words and your actions actually empower your team? Do you lift them up as a specialist they are? Or do you maybe subconsciously undermine their authority just a little bit to make sure the client always comes back to you for the real answers? You gotta be honest, this is all about your behavior as a leader. And finally, the asset validation. This is where it all hits the bottom line. Let's be really clear about what a cap rate is. Think of it as the score that determines your business's sale price. High systemization and low dependency on you, that equals a premium cap rate, a really valuable company. High dependency on your personal labor, yeah, that just craters your value. So the question is, does your firm have the repeatable, systemic execution needed to command a premium price, or are you just running a high-paying job you can never ever quit? The answer to this question will literally determine the entire future of your business. So you see, it all comes down to this. Your job as a leader isn't to be the hero who saves the day. It's to be the architect of a system that makes the hero unnecessary. Script the transition so it's flawless, transfer the trust so it's unbreakable, and protect the platform, because that is the only true asset you are actually building.